As you are all well aware, I am a PlayStation YouTuber, and arguably I'm the king of PlayStation. Mystic Ryan? What's he a mystic about? Mystic styles of the ancient mutilations, torture chambers filled with corpses in my basement? Some old 36 Mafia. Y'all kids don't know about that. But we have a couple Sony PlayStation related stories that I want to cover today, including Sony potentially proving me wrong on something. So if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button if you like video game news and other crap that I do on this channel. But first off, we have to give an update to arguably one of the most disappointing game reveals in a very long time. This past week, we were, of course, introduced to Concord, which a lot of people thought was going to be like an action RPG, something fun, something cool, and no, it's a 5-on-5 hero shooter. And obviously, I was very harsh on this game because I just feel like this is not what Sony needs right now when it comes to the PlayStation 5. I would rather see smaller budget games, well, arguably smaller budget games, like Astrobot, something that has a lot of love, care, and time put into, something that has an interesting visual flair, and something that, I mean, let's be realistic. The 3D platformer genre isn't very prevalent on the PlayStation 5, whereas hero shooters, you had two that looked identical in the same presentation with Concord and Marvel Rivals. However, I was of the mindset that this game was potentially going to be a free game, you know, something that was put onto PlayStation Plus, something that you wouldn't have to pay actual money for. Well, I was wrong about that. I was wrong about that because it appears that to get the full gameplay experience of Concord, it will cost you 40 American dollars. And to me, just stop. Just stop. This game is not, nobody's going to buy this game for $40. If it was on PlayStation Plus, you might get people to check out this game. The problem is this whole game is going to be contingent on having a community, on having people to play the game. And when you're putting in that price barrier, when there are alternative options that are already out there that do the same thing, that are either cheaper or free, there's no sort of flair or pizzazz to the game that makes it really any different than any other sort of shooter that's in this style of game. It's like, what's the incentive for people? You know, what's the logic? What's the reasoning? What's the grabbing you in to make you want to get into this gameplay loop and spend $40 to play it? Now, I understand Sony could have charged $70. They could have charged $60. They could have charged $50. RGT, at least it's a budget game at $40. But once again, if this was a single player budget game, like that's different. Look at something like Metroid Prime Remastered or something like that. Something that's a single player experience that you don't have to rely on there being a community in order to play the game. This game is already getting negative press. People are already looking at this game and they're like, what void did this fill? You know, what is this going to do for the gaming medium? Does this look like even a fun and sort of different game that I can't already get a very similar experience with already? I know I've been very hard on this game, but it's because I feel like people need to be hard on these types of games. They need to realize that we are the consumers and we should be dictating what sort of games enter the marketplace. Now, of course, you can always have passion projects and smaller projects and things that, you know, you're not maybe expecting to sell really well, but maybe it hits with a certain audience and then it ends up being a huge success for you. I still think there should be creativity and taking of risks. But when it's a generic cookie cutter 5-on-5 hero arena shooter that we've seen time and time again, and we're going to continue to see because companies are so far behind with making new games and making new ideas because of the fact that AAA game development has gotten so insane with all of these crazy budgets and crazy metrics that they have to hit with player bases and people buying the game and people buying skins and different sorts of things like that. It's completely diluted the video game space. It has made people want to go to an area where they think they can get easy success. These basically these arena shooters, these hero shooter games. You know, I shouldn't even say arena shooters because when I think of arenas, I'm thinking of Unreal, you know, a game that you got everything and then you got DLC for it as well. Although you had to pay for some of that DLC. That was a different time frame though. But like, you get what I'm saying, man. This is a game that's going to probably fail. Like I don't see a world in which this game succeeds. And at the $40 price point, it's even more of a higher chance that this game is going to fail completely. Am I being too hard on Concord? I don't think I am, but if you think so, let me know in the comments down below. And finally, I was wrong about something. And I'm someone who, if I'm wrong about something, I will definitely say that I was wrong about something. But technically, it's a rumor, so maybe I'm not wrong. I guess we will find out tomorrow, because tomorrow, well, depending on when you're watching this video, it could be today or it could have already happened. We are talking about Summer Games Fest, the Jeff Keighley show where he's got some games to show us and some trailers and stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a video game presentation. They're always interesting, at least to some degree, either in the learning about new stuff or the complete train wreck aspect that we see with some of these presentations. Now, I said when I was talking about the Sony PlayStation presentation that I didn't feel like they were holding back anything that's a, first party IP or something like that. And while technically I am kind of right about that, if this rumor is true, it does involve a first party IP that allegedly is being made by another studio that's going to be revealed at Summer Games Fest. And that, of course, is the Lego Horizon video game. Now, strangely enough, I completely forgot that was supposed to be at the PlayStation State of Play presentation that we got earlier this week, because I'm just not interested in it. Like, I like Lego games when the source material is something I find interesting. Something like, Lego Star Wars, Lego Jurassic World, stuff like that is cool to me. But if it's a franchise or an IP that I'm just not really interested in, like, I won't really pay attention to it. And when I look at Horizon, I see a game with some beautiful graphics and like some really good gameplay, but the characters just are not memorable at all to me. Aloy is like one of the most generic characters of all time, but it seems that this Lego Horizon game is actually going to be unveiled at the Keighley Awards tomorrow with Summer Games Fest. Now, as far as a timetable for release, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm assuming it's going to be a 2024 game, so that would kind of have us having stuff like Until Dawn. But as far as like new games are concerned, you got Concord, you have Astrobot, and you have Lego Horizon. I feel like the Horizon series does sell pretty well, but I feel like it sells best at like a steep discounted price. Like, I'm not quite sure. Like, are we trying to bridge the gap here and make people, a younger demographic want to get into Horizon because of the Lego stuff? Or is this game for Horizon fans that want more out of the world of Horizon? And I do think there are people that absolutely love that game. And I think in certain aspects, it's definitely a really good game. It's just the character development is just so weak to me. And Lego games are kind of, they're about the characters. They're about, being quirky and funny with the characters that are in the game. So, I don't know. It would be an interesting thing to see there, though. It would at least help out Sony a little bit with their 2024 lineup of first-party games, or I guess this would be like a second-party game. So, I would be all for it. It would be an interesting enough announcement, and I would love to see kind of how they're doing it visually speaking. But there's another part of that rumor, and that part of the rumor is that this is going to be day and date PS5 and PC. Now, this is not an online games as a service game, and while technically it's not a first party game because it looks like another studio will be developing it, this is still a first party Sony IP and Sony property that is now being put onto PC day and date, a single player experience. So that, to me, that kind of murkies the waters a little bit. Like, we always hear, for single player games, Sony's going to focus on PlayStation 5, and then maybe eventually it'll come to PC for games as a service games. We're going to try to have a larger audience of people. But when you start to dip your toes into it with something like an offshoot game of a popular first party Sony IP, now you're just letting doubt creep in. Now every game that's going to be mentioned that is a first party Sony exclusive title, or either that has a first party character and a first party world within Sony games, now there's going to be that doubt. I guess we'll find out tomorrow, though, because this game will either show up there or not show up there. I'm very interested to see if it does, and I'm more interested in seeing if this is going to be a PC day and date release along with the PlayStation 5. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. Is a Lego Horizon game something you would be interested in? Would you want to pick it up on your PS5 or your PC? Let me know all that. And that's going to do it for our video here today. I thought it was a pretty solid video. Covered a lot of topics here. Really only two, but I had a lot of things to say about them. So let me know what you think about Concord. Let me know what you think about Lego Horizon. Is that showing up tomorrow? Are people just not as excited about PlayStation 5 stuff right now? I guess I'll find out with some view metrics here. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. I am the king of PlayStation YouTube, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.